Shalom, family. Thank you for tuning into Kawam Yasharella Creations. Today, we will be going over a Word document I put together for preparing for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So let's get to it. All right. Let me start from the beginning. Um, so, when you're removing leaven from your home, these are the places that you want to check: your pantry, your freezer, your refrigerator, like cake mixes, biscuit mixes, um, anything in those kind of natures. You really want to check everything. Um, in your freezer, you may have frozen yeast rolls, all kind of different frozen breads. In your refrigerator, cinnamon rolls, biscuits. Anybody that cooks will have a good understanding of this. So, what must be removed? And if you want this document, I can send it to you. You could just reach out to me on the YouTube page or on Facebook and let me know, and I can send this to you via email. So we're going to move on to what must be removed. What is the leaven? So anybody that's a baker, that bakes cakes, biscuits, anything from at home from scratch, you know yeast. What yeast is? It comes in a little packet. So you have the active dry yeast, instant yeast, fresh yeast, sourdough starters, fermented dough. Anything that makes dough rise is something that you need to get out of your house. Then we have foods that contain leaven. Of course, we know breads, rolls, cakes, muffins, pancakes, waffles, biscuits, pizza crust, any kind of dough that rises. That's basically what you need to get out of your house. Donuts, crackers, most kinds. Just check them. All all your crackers, just check them. Box mixes with leaven inside, like your cakes, your box biscuits, like those Red Lobster biscuits. That'd be an example of them. So now we have the chemical leaveners outside of yeast. Now these are ingredients that will be listed in whatever, like your box mixes, your frozen biscuits. These by themselves don't need to be thrown away. If you have a can of baking soda or a box of baking soda, um, or baking powder, which is sodium bicarbonate, any of these, you don't have to get rid of them unless they are in some kind of bread. So this is a list of them. And they're all of these, this list right here, are usually in crackers, pancake mix, box cake mix, biscuits, self-rising flour. That's one that needs to go because it has yeast in it. Self-rising flour has to go. So we're going to look at the obvious and not so obvious names. Look for yeast, active dry yeast, instant yeast. Yeast extract is something that doesn't have to go because it's a flavor enhancer. It doesn't make the, it's not a leavening agent. It doesn't make the dough rise. Um, all of these fermented wheat flour, brewer's yeast. This will give me 1 second. Yeast extract and autolyzed yeast are usually flavored enhancers, not active leaven, but some people still remove them during their leavening. cleanse. If you want to be on this, I'm not going to say if you want to be on the safe side, but if you feel like you must remove it, remove it. That's between you and y'all. But it's not a leavening agent. So we got self-rising products. Those have to go. They have leavening because they rise. And these are some of the things that are hidden where it doesn't really, give you clear ingredients, but they contain leaven. Um, self-rising flour, self-rising cornmeal, complete pancake mix, complete waffle mix. Processed and packaged foods that often contain leaven, even if they don't look like bread. Flavored crackers, protein bars, some tortilla wraps, frozen breaded chicken, coated frozen fish, stuffing mix, some veggie burgers. So we need to be checking all of those. Fast food buns, obvious, but often forgotten in freezer. Yes. So we need to be checking those things out. Everything, anywhere where you have food, you need to be looking. Less obvious items. Some seasoning blends that contain baking soda, but this would be an area where unless you are using it in some kind of bread that you're making, flat bread that you're making, I would not use the seasoning blends that contain baking soda because when you add it to the bread or when you add it to the dough, it leavens it. Nutritional yeast, some snack chips. That would be like your Doritos, Cheetos, cheese puffs. You need to be checking those ingredients. And that's really the Word document that I have. Um, but I really made this so you will have an idea of what you need to do um, when you are checking your items within your homes. You need to be, you can use that, or if you have an understanding of cooking or baking, understanding of what makes dough rise, the baking soda, the baking powder, um, those can stay because them by themselves are good. But if you have actual like yeast packets, I know me and my husband bought one maybe a week or two ago, and that yeast packet is leaven itself. In that package, that there will make, it's not the same as baking soda or any other thing that you may have like that can stay. Um, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at scriptures, and we're going to read the scriptures, and we're going to see what the scriptures say. And we're going to start at Exodus. Well, we're going to start at 14. Exodus chapter 12, verse 14. And this is just for your reference so it can give you understanding of what Yahweh says, how you're supposed to keep the feast, what he says needs to be removed, um, and so on and so forth. So we're going to read Exodus 12, verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Let's look up this word ordinance. Let's see what this means. Meaning substantially the same, appointed, custom, manner, ordinance, site, statute, ordinance, limited, enactment, something prescribed. So this is something that we should be doing every year in its season. Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leaven bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Let's see what this word is. Cut. By implication, to destroy or consume, specifically to covenant. Make alliance or bargain originally by cutting flesh and passing between the pieces. Okay, let's look at the brown driver's bread. To cut off, cut down, cut off a body part, cut out, eliminate, kill, cut a covenant. Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the same day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So let's see what work. Let's click on this. Dutyship, properly dutyship, that is ministry, generally employment, never servile or work, abstractly or concretely. Also property, as a result of labor, business, cattle, industrious, occupation, work, business. Verse 17, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your house. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So this here is telling you, 7 days. Not only should there be no leaven found in your house, but you should be eating unleavened bread as well. And it's going to explain that in 20. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall you eat unleavened bread. So these scriptures here are showing you you can't eat any unleavened bread. You can't have you can't eat any leavened bread. Sorry. You can't have any unleavened bread in your house or leavened bread in your house. And you can't find there can't be any leavened found in your house. So now what I want you guys to look at is we're going to look and see at some historical feast of unleavened bread. So we're going to start in Joshua. Well, yeah, I say historical, um, where they were keeping the feast of unleavened bread. So we're going to go to Joshua chapter 5. We're going to verse 10. Now this is when they first came in the land. Joshua chapter 5, verse 10. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgad and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. So we're going to look at one more scripture, so two more scriptures. We're going to go to Second Chronicles, and we're going to go to chapter 30 and verse 6. I'll start at verse 6. Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 6. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes, throughout all the is throughout all Israel and Judah, and according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto Yahweh Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remnant of you that are escaped out of the land, out of the hand of the kings of Assyria. And be ye not like your fathers, and like your brethren, which trespassed against Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, who therefore gave them up to desolation, as ye see. Now be ye not stiffnecked, as your fathers were, but yield yourself unto Yahweh, and enter into his sanctuary, which he hath sanctified forever, and serve Yahweh your Elohim, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. Verse 9. For if ye turn again unto Yahweh, your brethren and your children shall find compassion before them that led them captive, so that they shall come again unto this land. For Yahweh your Elohim is gracious and merciful, and will not turn away his face from you, if ye return unto him. So this was them coming back from their captivity in Assyria, and he was telling them we need to keep the feast of unleavened bread. And did it say it? Let me see. And look at the commandment of the king saying, okay. So now we're going to go to Ezra. Oh, and if you have already read it, and it's been a while, um, but you want to go and see how Israel went into captivity, came out of captivity, First and Second Chronicles, there was so much revelation in there. And we think that we're so far removed from seeing actual um, Israel, Yasharella, in its pure state. But these people were just like us, just like the people coming out from Assyria. Um, they didn't really know the customs. They didn't know everything, how Israel was in the land. Like they were, how do I say it? They were used to the customs of the people of the other nations that they were around. And even before that, before they went into captivity, the kings were wicked. Not all the kings were wicked, but some of the kings were wicked, and they took on the customs in the land of the other nations, and that's why they got kicked out. So now we're going to go to Ezra. We're going to go to 6, and we're going to go to 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the first month. For the priests and the Levites were purified together. All of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, and for their brethren the priests, and for themselves. 21. And the children of Israel which were come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land. See, this is telling you. They took on the customs of the other nations and their land. To seek Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, did eat, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For Yahweh had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of Elohim, of Yah, the Elohim of Israel. So this is kind of going over what we just read too in Chronicles. It's going over them coming out of captivity, coming back into the land. The king allowing them to come back to the land because Yah softened his heart, and they're keeping the Passover and unleavened bread. So it's just showing you some of the examples of them keeping Passover and unleavened bread. So I encourage anybody that needs to read more on the Passover, unleavened bread. Some of the chapters that you can find them outside of the ones that we went over. Leviticus 23, chapter 23, verses 4 through 8. Then you have Numbers 28, chapter 28, verse 16 through 25. Deuteronomy 16. I don't know why I can't say chapter first. Chapter 16, 1, verses 1 through 8. That'll give you some more details, readings that you can do on your own to get more understanding if there is anything that I may have missed. And coming shortly, I don't know exactly when I'm gonna be able to put it together, but it's coming. I'm gonna put together a study of going over Enoch and how to watch the sun and the moon to keep up with the calendar. It's really, really not that hard. It's really not. We really make it harder than it really is. You really have to go outside and look at the moon. So today, I think, is the 15th day. Well, at sundown will be the 15th day of the 12th month. It will be a full moon. And you here in Kentucky, it's super cloudy, but I was able to catch it yesterday. The day before, I was not. But all you have to do is really go out and see. And if you look at it and you make it a habit to look at it every single day until you get familiar with it and familiar with the distance that it is to the sun and from the sun as the month goes on, it becomes really, really clear. And I know when I very first started, I would look every day, but I wasn't writing anything down, which you don't really have to. Anybody that is really into keeping up with the calendar, keeping up, for your families, for you to share with other people, it becomes I don't want to say like an addiction, like in a negative way, but you'll find yourself always looking, where's the moon? What direction is the sun in? Things like that. And it just becomes like as easy as writing letters on a piece of paper. So I encourage everybody to go out there and look and just take pictures. So for you to later, mark your calendar today at sundown for it to be the 15th day and keep counting from then. At least try to get it on your calendar at least in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. And then you can fill in the blanks. But it's hard to start um like day 8 because in the beginning you don't know what day 8 looks like. I can't say I will always. If I went to sleep and slept for 5 days and woke up and been like, oh, okay, it's day. I can't say that I would be able to. Now I maybe get closer than some people, but it's just really looking out there. And I know me, I can look out sometimes, most of the time, I can look out my back window, uh, walk out the front door or the back door, and look up at the sky and see the moon. And it's really that easy. And I hate the cold weather, but I'll go out there in the cold and look for them. I will. So it's coming soon. The lesson on understanding Enoch. Um, I'm gonna have to set a timer for myself so I don't keep dragging on and dragging my feet. I'm gonna say at least a week from today I should have it. So thank you for everybody that tuned in. If you have any questions, comments, most of you guys that watch and follow my page know how to reach out to me. If you don't, just leave a comment. We can chit chat in the comments. I can try to help you as much as possible with any questions, comments, or concerns. And again, thank you for all the support, and I just really appreciate it. And I'm going to say shalom and see you guys later.